growing up in a small town, there isn't much to do around where you live. You can go to the next town where there's bigger and better things to do. You can drive around with your friends, go to the park, and play sports, basketball, football, frisbee. But there's always been one sport that has been just completely different from every single other one to me. Growing up, I didn't have the best baseball hitting average or the best catching average or anything like that, and soccer just was not my thing. Soccer was kind of like one of those sports where whenever you kick the ball and it goes to the goal, I was like, that's pointless. There's no reason for me to be doing that because it's just a ball. And with football, it was more or less something where it gave me a way to channel what I was thinking, and it was a way where I could just stop and calm down, and it was really just a peaceful rock in whatever that was going on in my life. And growing up, there wasn't much to do. I had friends that played it, and all we did was just go out and throw the ball, play two-touch, and stuff like that. And as I got older, I realized that it was something that I really wanted to do, and a sport that I really wanted to play. And so I started Pee Wee football. And with Pee Wee football, the coaches took extra care of each and every individual that played. They knew exactly what was going on in the kid's life, how their grades were, what they were doing in school, how they were doing it. They taught us to be respectful to our teachers and our fellow students. They taught us to be respectful to each other and respectful to everybody else. And that was something that, as a 10-year-old kid, I just had no idea what to do and how to do it. And then once I started playing this sport, it was just an eye-opening experience in how these grown men took time out of their day to make it to where they can turn young boys into good, outstanding characters of society. They taught us leadership and they taught us character. They taught us how turning back on somebody was nothing more than just going and failing how you were as a person, and that failing that person would always come back to bite you in the butt, and that a story that somebody told you may not always be true unless you hear it from the personal gain and from the person. The coaches were out there. They brought us snacks, they brought us water, they brought us anything that would help us, and they taught us that not always will somebody be there for you, but they will always be there with you. And then when the coaches brought this, it brought into the parents that they taught us that absolute love and affection for one child can go so far with each other, and that with one kid, it can change his whole world, because the kid might be a complete terrible student, and he might not know what to do and how to treat people, and then one thing from one parent can completely change his mindset, and that can completely turn a kid all for a 180 and just go all the way around and change his life. And for this, we thank our parents, and we thank our coaches, and all of this brought us down to everything that these people brought us, that this sport was nothing like what most people thought. It taught us that friendship can go miles and miles, and that going against opponents who were just as good as you or even better was nothing more than a little chip in the pathway, and that most of these kids had the same problems and lifestyles that we did, and that one of these things is just nothing more than just a challenge, and that challenge can help you push through life. And all of this brought it down to how parents and students and coaches, they taught us that a sport is nothing more than just a lifestyle, and your lifestyle can change with one simple action. And we thank these coaches and parents for all of this, because what they did completely changed our lives.